It's that time of the year. Yeah, Songtember is here at last. Songtember 2022 here on Studio Live today. And in this video, we're going to talk all about it. I'm going to tell you what it is, how you can participate, and share some experiences from some other folks that have had along the way. Because this is, believe it or not, the fourth annual Songtember. And I'm pretty darn excited. It is the 30th of August here. It's the 31st of August here in Australia. It's the evening of the 30th for many of you. So that means, regardless of where you are in the world, you've got somewhere between 24 and 36 hours left to get yourself prepared, to get yourself psyched up and ready to go. So if you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you've got things that you want to talk about here, you can go ahead and do that on this very show and get yourself super prepared and super psyched up for everything. We do have a couple of ways that you can get involved. The simplest thing that you can do is jump on over to this page here. This is studiolivetoday.com/Songtember. I keep things super simple for you there. So that's where we have all of the links that you need. So that's this very launch party right here, last year's launch party, if you want to get all retro. And then you can join the Facebook group, the Discord, and follow all the places, the YouTubes, the Instagrams, the Twitter. And if you want to know what Songtember is all about and how it works, that's all listed there as well. And we will be talking about that as we go through with the show here today. But let's say g'day, because we've got some fine folks who are here live, and I want to say g'day to all of them before we kick off and get started. So hello, Amelia, Mrs. Christ, happy almost Songtember to you all. G'day, Tremor Bear. We've got SM Borthwick here. Hola, amigos. Franjo Garcia. G'day, Chip. Thanks for dropping on in. Hello to Rook. Hello to this bloke here, Thomas Christ. We've got Jamie Mallender, dude. Keonra Music is here. We've got Mars Capone, Princess LDG. Josh Gates Music is here. Kim Harden, Hudson. Hello to everyone. Joe and Barry Glenn. Alex Backus, who's staying up late to say g'day over in Germany. Leela, Lou Reality. We've got some Chandlers in the house. Sean, to be specific. We've got Weltenkinder. We've got Dan Ekberg Music. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that everyone's looking pretty psyched for Songtember 2022. So, let's give you the down low. Let's give you the 30-second version. So if you just want to leave and get on with your creation, you can do it. What is Songtember all about? It is about you creating, recording, and releasing one song in the month of September. It's as simple as that. The rules are, Jade just did a show and she was pretty spot on. The rules are, there are no rules. And what I like to say is, if you get more done by participating in Songtember than you would have by not, you're a winner. You've already won. So the idea is that we want people to be creating music, but the reason we do this monthly, this yearly thing for a whole month is that you'll tend to find that when you've got that positive energy and vibe around you from a lot of other people doing the same thing as you are, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to actually get things done. You've got people to lean on. You can chat in the Discord. You can share your demos on the Facebook group, and you can just generally see what other people are doing. If you're lacking inspiration, you're like, you know what, today's just a day where I can't get anything done, then just go watch someone else. Go see what Thomas Christ's up to. Go see what Jade Star's up to. Come here and check out what my song's doing if I've completely changed genres halfway through, which is very likely. It's happened before. So we'll be going through a lot of that detail as we go through. But if you just wanted the simple, just the facts, Johns, that's what it's all about. It's about creating, recording, and releasing. And when we say releasing, don't be scared by that. If you don't want to release using, DistroKid or one of these places, and you just want to get your song out there, YouTube, Facebook, if you want to, Discord, you can release a SoundCloud, slaps.com, all of these places you can get your stuff out there. Let's jump on into the show. Now, I didn't want to be sitting here and having you looking at my face and listening to me rant for the entire time, so I've got a couple of special surprise guests, and they're so surprising I definitely didn't say who they were on YML this week, but I would like to bring in moderator extraordinaire, man of 17 albums and counting, the one, the only, Mr. Thomas Christ. How you doing, Tom?
Good. How are you, Pete?
I'm exceptionally well. Thank you for joining me. It's been too long. I think last you were on the show was a couple of months ago on the Creator Town Hall, and it is good to have you back.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
So the reason I wanted to chat with you for a couple of reasons. Number one is that to thank you for your moderation efforts. So can everyone in the chat here just put the applause together, throw the horns up, because if you don't know, Thomas is here like I think you might have missed one show in the history of Studio Live Today in the last 2 years. So Thomas is here every week, every show, keeping the porn bots out, keeping all the conversations nice. And is it a tough job? I've been meaning to ask you for a while. Is there much work to do, or is everyone generally pretty well behaved?
No, because everybody we have such an awesome community of people who are really kind and considerate and invested in what each other's doing. And very rarely, maybe on YML, sometimes you get to, play my fire beat when we're not playing fire beats. But other than that, and the occasional porn bot, it's
For the most part, it's all pretty good because we do have an amazing community here, and many folks are here right now, and they're all applauding you. So thank you, Princess, Kianra, Kim. I know that a lot of these folks do their own moderating as well, and a shout out to all the spanners out there. They do a good job. G'day, by the way, Tom Terragrosa. G'day, Guitar Shocker. Hey, Conspiracy Music. I think I saw Audible Video there. It's the All Stars here today. I think I said it before. I think everyone's psyched to get creating, and I know I am as well, because unlike Thomas, who has 17, is it 17 you've completed now? You're working on 18, is that right?
17 complete. Let me tell you, I've just been working because if you remember, now, so for those of you who don't know, I have a show that I do called You Rock, and we just celebrated the 50th episode, and Pete was kind enough to come on, as well as Ron Ward and Jade Starr and a number of people from the community. And I had a giveaway that I did. It was one of these things that I thought of earlier in the day. I thought, oh, it'd be cool to have a giveaway. What can I give away? And I'm like, I'll just give away my entire discography. So, and the problem is that, I have stuff in a lot of different places, in a lot of different folders, and nothing's organized.
Yeah.
So Ron Ward ended up winning the discography. So I've literally spent the last 2 days, when I should be finishing up my album, I've spent the last 2 days getting this whole discography together, and it's all told. Now everything is in WAV files. Some are 16-bit, some are 24-bit, but all told, it's over 18 gigs.
Whoa.
And that's not everything. That's like the main stuff.
See, man, you're going to inspire me because, I have the same problem that I've got all my stuff released, and thank goodness, DistroKid have backups of all my masters, because I know at least I've got my masters there, but my goodness, my projects are in disarray. Some are in GarageBand iOS, some are in Mac, some are in Logic and Cubasis, and I'm like, oh man, that's a project for a week where I need to just consolidate everything. So maybe I'll be inspired by you and what you've been through. If folks didn't miss that, it was a great hangout. This is what was all about. So we had a whole bunch of cool folks from around the community chatting over on Thomas's show. We had the Brady Bunch going on there with Leela and Ron and Manny from the Lily Pillies, Chris Lane, Jade, Statistic, Gortium, you and me. It was a great time. So if you did miss that one, go and check it out, because it was a cool time. It was a good old time, and you can catch the replay of that one. We're only there for about 2 hours total. I think I was there the first hour, but 2 hours of chatting all about music, which was cool. Speaking of music, Thomas, and speaking of Songtember, I mean, you're showing me up there, mate, because you've got the very cool Songtember background working on there. So what's been your experience so far for those that are maybe new to the community and haven't participated in Songtember before? Can you just talk us through sort of your last, because I think, is this your third year you've been doing Songtember, or have you done it all 4 years? Is this number 4?
No, I was here 2019.
2019.
I go back and I saw the first video that you did, and I was in there. I was like, oh, there I am. I was under my real name instead of my pseudonym, but
that's right. Yeah, which is which you can't reveal here because it was your real name. So how have you found things over that time period in terms of Songtember, and what have you got out of it, and what's it like participating in that over the previous years?
Well, it's been a different experience every year. I think the first year I didn't even because I don't think people here knew me very well, and they didn't know that I did music under Thomas Christ. So I put something out that was just under my real name, and I'm going to try, because I'm going to be doing some shows about Songtember on my channel, and I'm going to try, one of the things that I want to do early on is to play all my Songtember songs, and so I'm going to try to play that first one, because I don't think many people have heard that one.
I can't even remember. I was trying to think, what was your first song back in 2019?
Yeah, I really don't remember what it's called. I'd have to go back and look and see.
Very memorable.
Yeah, but it was just something I did it. I did it in GarageBand iOS because I was kind of messing around in there and getting just starting to get back into like doing a little bit of music.
Hmm.
In 2020, it ended up that I was it kind of it's because the summer because of the work that I do, the summers tend to be a down period. So I
Hmm.
usually end up working on albums over the summer. So I think like every year since then, I've been releasing an album during Songtember. So now I'm
Yeah,
just finishing up the album that I started early back in May, and so that's and then the year before I did the creator, and the year before that I did Virus Infect.
that's
So
right.
so
Yeah.
I've kind of always since then I've had an album coming out. But this year I'm finishing up the album. Really had wanted to have it done by the beginning of Songtember, but you know how things work sometimes. Life gets in the way and things happen, and but
Yeah.
we'll get that done. And then I'm gonna work on. I have a side project not too many people know about called Folk U,
Oh,
and that's
yes.
kind of my little repository for things that don't fit under Thomas Christ, because Thomas Christ is it's very heavy and
Hmm.
it's very serious and it's very it can be very it weighs you down sometimes doing that kind of music. So I have Folk U where I do songs like ET Phone Home, the Bossa Nova Button, and a few other things. And I did a live stream not too long ago there. You see it there.
Yeah.
Um, doing Folk U where I just played guitar and made up songs because that's kind of how Folk U starts. I just kind of make things up and
Yeah.
then it, distills down. We'll see if there's some things that come out of that improvisatory
Yeah.
effort that end up becoming more, solidified songs.
I like it. So you could be the samba button or the foxtrot button this year. You
Yeah,
just hitting different Casio buttons and making
I'll
songs
try
out
all
of
the Casio buttons.
Very cool stuff. So okay, that could be cool. We got some folk you to look forward to potentially for Songtember, and I think the good thing about it is that I've got no idea what I'm doing right now, and that's kind of the serendipity of just going and starting something and not having a goal. Like I know you're someone who, when you create your albums, you have the concept, and then you start working through songs and things. I think sometimes just having the freedom to go, I don't even know what genre I'm going to make. I don't even know what the lead instrument's going to be, what platform I'm going to use. So I put it out here to the audience and I just say, hey, viewers, what do you think that we should do? So if anyone's got any suggestions, I'm all ears at this point because I got literally zero. Last year I had a riff. Last year I had that one chord progression for my song and that was it. This year I got bupkis. So we'll see how that goes. So and you'll be sharing some content. FL Studio, is that kind of you've kind of fallen back in love with FL Studio recently, mate? So you're creating a lot more in FL.
Yeah. So I decided it's kind of been eating at me for a while, and I just knew that workflow so well, and I thought it'd be cool, like just to get FL Studio on the Mac. I'd been using Logic, but I thought we'll just get it on the Mac and see if it can be incorporated into my process. And then next thing I know, it's pretty much like I use it almost exclusively for creating
Mm,
now because it just works for me. The pattern based system that it has just kind of like
yeah.
works with the way my brain functions. So I still use Logic. The main thing I use Logic for now, like I'm running my vocals through Logic for this, and I do use it for my live shows. But
Mm,
um, that's kind of and to open up old projects and stuff. And
yeah.
um, it has it has a different with the linear workflow. It has a lot more kind of the realistic instruments, orchestral instruments, things like that. So Logic still has a place, but for right now, I've kind of like been digging the FL Studio
You've
workflow.
got behind the Fruity Loops. Can you promise me that in every video you do about FL Studio, you say Fruity Loops at least once, just so that all
Okay.
the rappers and beat makers
Yeah.
can remember its roots? Because I love doing that when someone's like, "Yo, my fire beat, I made it in FL," and I'm like, "Oh, you use Fruity Loops? That's delightful." Yeah, so Fruity Loops is old school and been around for probably 25 years now. It was
Yeah.
one of the first apps that apps, we didn't even call them apps there. One of the first programs that I used back. I reckon it was on DOS or very early Windows at least. It's been around a long time. Very cool. So folks need to go to your channel, Thomas Christ, and
Mhm.
check out not only your U Rock show and your live performances, but it sounds like you're going to be sharing a bit more of your behind the scenes content over the month of Songtember. So that could be another cool place. And look, you've got the banner, you've got the background all ready to go. so it's gonna work for you. Very cool. I'm gonna.
Oh,
We've
and
got
I do want to mention before I
Oh yes,
forget
yes.
that I'm also going to be a guest on. Not many people know Leela in the chat, Lou Reality.
Oh yeah.
She has a show every Monday at 3:15 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm going to be a guest on her show on next Monday and on the 5th of September, and we're going to be talking about Songtember and just kind of our creation process, things like that. So it's definitely something you should check out if you haven't, because she's also an amazing creator, and I just want to shout out the show and bring that to everyone's attention.
Well, so this is why we do live shows and why I get you folks on here, because I didn't know that, I wasn't aware, and now I am. I knew Leela had a show. I think it's on. Yeah, you can see there 4:45 a.m. my time, and through winter I've been having some sleep in, so I have caught bits and pieces of Leela's show, but usually on the replay. I think I caught Kim Harden Hudson on there, which was a really good chat, and yeah, we love the more the merrier. The more folks sharing more content, more information, and it's probably a good point to say, as Leela has done there. Hashtag Songtember. If you are sharing stuff anywhere, we kind of own the hashtag Songtember. I think in 2019, someone else was using it a little bit, but we've kind of taken it over. So this community pretty much owns hashtag Songtember. So if you put that on your Instagram post, if you put that on Discord, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever it is, then whenever someone's just searching for hashtags for stuff about Songtember, they just put hashtag Songtember in there, and it's all nicely tagged. So whether you're looking for Thomas's stuff or Leela's stuff, or I know Keonra reached out this week and she's doing some content for Songtember. She's starting up more of a how-to channel as well, so that's really cool. I'm sure we'll rope in people like Mike over at Creative Source. He'll be like, bloody Songtember, what's that all about? And then I'll make him do something with it. So that's very cool. So I've just thrown a link there in the chat. So go and pre-like that and put your reminders on. I would put the notify me, but then I'll get a notification at 4:30 in the morning saying, oh, you need to get up and watch this show. So I may be catching you on replay land.
Yeah,
there.
that's all good.
Cool. Now, are you cool to hang around a bit later? I've got another guest we're going to chat to, but then if you've got some more time, I'll pop you backstage, and then we'll have a bit of a round table after we've chatted with our next guest.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Everyone can thank Thomas Christ. We'll see Thomas back here in just a little while. So we'll pop him ceremoniously. We'll ceremoniously dump him there backstage for now, because we've got another guest coming up very soon. In fact, right now. That is someone that many of you know, some of you love. That is the one and only Jade Star. Now, Jade's doing her own series right throughout Songtember, as usual. She did her kickoff. She had to beat me to the punch, so she did her kickoff show just before this one. So go back and catch that one if you haven't already. So without any further ado, why don't we welcome to Songtember 2022 officially the one, the only Jade Star.
Oh, am I on? Oh, hi, Pete.
Hey, what's going on, Pete?
always has to make an entrance. I could see the blank stage there in the thing, and I'm like, this is always interesting. You never quite know how Jade's going to enter. So, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing really good. I'm doing very well. I'm very excited. How are you doing?
I'm doing
It's
equally
early.
well. It is early. I know. I'm not used to this stuff anymore. Getting up early and being online at this time. It was like 7:30, and I was like in the shower at like 7:15, going, "Oh shit, I've actually got to be live in like 15 minutes. I better get my ass in again." And then I hadn't sent either you or Thomas the link to be a guest here. So, you know what? That's what Songtember's all about, though. It's about little failures and big successes. So that's what I'm doing. So, how was your kickoff show? I did catch some of it this morning. How did that go for Songtember 2022?
Yeah, it was good fun. Lots of information to get through. I covered some of this music I've made from past Songtembers and put out the offer to everybody to follow along on my channel during Songtember. I'll be running a bunch of workshops during it on video production, art, all that kind of stuff. So I'll be using Midjourney, the AI-generated art thing, and people can come along and submit ideas for art, and I'll make their artwork for them on the show live if they would like. So lots of fun things to do. I'm really excited about it, and I hope everybody else is pumped. But I just definitely want to be a little resource for everybody, just someone to lean on, because my music's not that important.
Boom.
It is YouTube. Like I always say, it's YouTube, not MeTube or
Exactly.
JTube or anything. So it is. It is all about you folks and you in the community. And we do thank you for being part of it. Now it's funny because I was looking up, as you would have seen there, I was looking up your shows and the show that you just did today, your special event, and then I'm like, oh yeah, then there's your Jade's birthday and Songtember kickoff, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's last year. So yeah, things
It's
are
tomorrow.
Your birthday and Songtember kind of go hand in glove because
I love it.
It happens to be your birthday. So you've got a big another big birthday celebration show tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And every year I try to, I don't want to make my birthday party show about me. So tomorrow's birthday show, I'm turning 50, Pete. Can you believe it? Damn, what's going on? I'm officially a boomer. Yay.
Oh, there you go. Oh, so we can just start saying whatever, boomer.
Yeah, exactly. But I will be playing a bunch of your music because I try to
Mine?
do that on my birthday. Yeah, well, yours may be in there as well, but community music, songs
Yeah,
that
yeah.
people from around all our communities make, stuff that makes me happy because you should do the things that make you happy. I say it every day. It's not just a catchphrase. And what makes me happy is listening to people's music from these communities. They're amazing. People churn out far more music than I get to. So I'm jealous. I'm jealous. How are you preparing for? I heard you mention a little bit what's going on with you and Songtember. Any ideas?
I've deliberately, as you know, because it's kind of become a bit of a joke. At the start of the year, I said I'm going to make 12 songs this year. It's not going to be all about Songtember. I'm going to have a whole album by the end of the year, and made one song, and then that was it. In fact, no, I sung on Trevor Bear's song, so I've got 1.5 songs to my credit this year. So it hasn't quite gone to plan, but other things have come up, and I think that's part and parcel of this job that we do. Is that there's no manual, there's no like way forward, and a lot of it is about trial and error and experimentation. So I've decided to embrace that, and I've decided to take that into Songtember, that it's going to be trial and error and experimentation. I'm going to sit down tomorrow when I first start things off and just see what happens. Just grab a guitar, a keyboard, a DAW of some sort and start recording. Or, and we'll talk tips and tricks and things for Songtember shortly. We'll bring Thomas back in for that. But I like your doo-doo. I like your doo-doo, Jade. Your doo-doo method where you walk around and do the humming and the doo-doo-doos and da-da-das, capturing ideas that way. So
There's a song in that. I think it goes do 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 da 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 da. Copyright claim right there.
Oh no! I've got enough of those. But yeah, like I like that idea that you just creating things, and I think what I want to focus on this year is the fact that it doesn't matter what you have, what gear you have, where you are, what space you have. So I'm going to be doing a lot more. I like to get outside, so get outside and capture ideas, and I know that you're working on videos and things like that as well. So I'm hoping that I can actually get a video together this year. So I'll follow along with you so that I can learn how to do it, because I don't make creative videos. I make very technical how-to type videos, but creative videos is not something I've done a heap of. So that's what I'm kind of excited about. I'm excited by the notion that I've got no idea what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go for it.
That's exciting. You're like that every year. I'm kind of like that this year. I'm a bit unpredictable I am this year because I'm doing 2 songs. Now, for those of you who followed along, the last 2 years I've done full EPs, and that was... Yeah, that was stressful. This year, I think it's. I want to talk to you about this. It's hard to create music when you are tied to a YouTube channel and doing shows constantly, making content.
Yeah.
My creativity has been suffering immensely. I just don't have the energy or the time due to health as well, and to churn out the amount of information on my channel and then make music. So this is that one time of the year, I guess, where I've got no excuse. I have to do it. And at the same time, I get to blend it with teaching, hopefully. So, but I'm doing a track that is going to be completely AI generated this year for the first week. So it's in the hands of the AI gods, from generating the chords, putting the chords together, and then, automating the whole song. And then that'll be the first week. And then the next 3 weeks will be recording a new Metheus song, an actual band, bass, drums on my drum kit and everything. So
Very exciting. Yeah,
Still
I know
hard.
many of us are excited for that because I think you mentioned this morning, and I mentioned when we chatted a couple of weeks back, that "World Divided" still one of my favourite songs, and definitely one of my favourite videos of all time. It's one of the few things I've got sitting here ready to play on my StreamYard at any time. So it's kind of cool. If ever anything fails here, "World Divided" will just play on loop on Studio Live today over and over again because it's like the only backup video and music that I have here if everything else fails. So
It's a bit daunting, Pete, too, because that song does mean a lot to me. And I know I've seen a lot of people write in the chat. I'm not having tickets on myself or anything, but I know a lot of people I see in the chat on YML when you play it or whatever. People say that song meant a lot to them because it was during the lockdown times. And that video clip I put a lot of work into. It's something I'm still very proud of. So the pressure is on my shoulders to create a new Metheus song that is up there. I've already chosen the name of it. It's called Hunger. And it's about food shortages and stuff like that in the world that is kind of already happening. So it's going to be a bit bleak as usual, but I can't wait to don the Darth Vader costume again, the old lady costume. All the characters will be back, and should be fun.
Dusting off the old gear.
And the straight jacket.
That was one of the GIMP outfit, isn't
The
it?
GIMP will be back.
That one, disturbing, still haunts my dreams.
I think I'm going to go outside and film stuff in the GIMP suit.
Oh, that could be interesting.
In the middle of a supermarket, just to see what happens. Maybe I'll go to an anti-vax rally. Have you been to one of those recently, Pete?
Alas, no. I did stumble past one the other day, and it was very interesting. For those who aren't on the Discord, it's good advertisement for the Discord. So go and join the Discord because you would have seen the photo over there. We share a little bit more behind the scenes stuff that's maybe not as appropriate for a public audience. But I was let's just say myself and Georgie, my wife, went to Melbourne, and we were only there for like 36 hours. But we're like, Jade, come quick, have a drink. So we were having a drink. Haven't had a drink at the corner pub there. We just happened to be down the road from the Parliament House there, where there was a group butchering some classic songs and making brand new lyrics to them, all about their points of view. Which more power to you, people. But gee, it was funny.
I'll never forget that cover of Pink Floyd ever again. It was. We don't need no vaccination. God, I laughed.
Oh no,
it was a great day. It was so good to see both of you and Georgie. It was great to see you both in the flesh.
And likewise, and yeah, for other folks, and you're like, when are you doing your national and your world tour, Johnson? Why don't you ever come see us? It's like, it's challenging because it was the first time I'd flown anywhere in 3 years, and like I said, we literally had 2 days to hang out and to get a little bit of R&R because I knew that Songtember was coming up, and I needed to get a little relaxation in beforehand. Think Ployd, there you go. That was the band. Cool. So for those of us who are just joining us, we are chatting Songtember here, and don't forget that the easiest place to get all the links. You know what? I've got to add you and Thomas. I'm going to do that on the fly. When I get Thomas back in here, I'm going to add in links. So if anyone else is creating content in the month, so I know Leela's now doing her show with Thomas. I just found that out. I'm going to put a Friends of Songtember spot in here so I can link in Jade and Tom and Leela and Kionna and anyone else that's doing Songtember content. But at the moment, the easiest way is actually to jump over to the Facebook group or the Discord, because that's where that's all the cool kids are hanging out. That's where everyone's sharing all of their content and I'm loving Discord. I think you've been trying to get me onto Discord for a while, and I was like, I'm too old, I don't understand it. But it's actually really simple. It's like what Twitter and Facebook were before they got ruined. Before they came in and commercialized it.
You were yelling at clouds for so long with Discord. So on my Discord, I have an AI bot which you can come in and design your own images and graphics, and that's really fun too. So interesting. Hey, something else I want to mention, which you're going to be a part of on my channel. At the end of Songtember, we are going to be doing a panel, a Wart series panel with you and Thomas Christ and Ron Ward, and hopefully Hippie is going to come on. And we're going to be talking about feedback and how to give feedback to people and stuff like that. So that's another part of Songtember. I have lots of workshops and things planned, so I'm super excited to get everybody involved.
Very cool indeed. Jamie, I'm with you there, mate. My daughter helped me in Discord as well. She showed me how it worked and helped me learn and set up the channel. So I need to learn a little bit more. Jade apparently has the sexiest Discord, except maybe Gordium. Oh, there you go. This is a problem. Discord kind of reminds me of, remember the old like days where you'd have the tripods websites and we've got the sad, very sad ladies that just popped in
Just
there.
needed a quick snort.
I'm trying to think. GeoCities is what I was trying to think of. Everyone had their own GeoCities, and it was
GeoCities
kind of like
rock.
Discord is kind of the same thing. Like everyone can kind of customize, and everyone's space on Discord is kind of like their personality, or it's a bit like MySpace, even like the early days of MySpace, where everyone had flying toasters and star backgrounds that made you puke while you're trying to look at their music.
Well, they
content.
rebranded MySpace. Like I think I covered some of it on my show. It's called, I can't remember what it's called. I don't care anymore because they banned me. I just got over 100 followers on the new MySpace, which looks exactly like the old school MySpace. The person who made it sold the original template to some company, and they've rebranded it. And yeah, I logged in one day and I'd been banned. No, it's not that. It's
This is the new kind of ghost of MySpace that they put on here. That's just like music. So it's got a different name and stuff now. Is it?
It's called Space Hay. Whoops, I went to the wrong end. There. Is that it? No?
It's called Inception.
How am I doing that? Oh, I know why, because I've got to do this.
Sharing your OBS.
Here it is. It's called Space Hay. There we go. Suspended
Space
account.
So you're losing before you've even started. Good. Well done.
I think it was like I had a good following on there too. I think it was because I promoted too much FMC on there.
Yes.
And I think I broke terms of service, but it's all good. But it was so cool to have MySpace back again. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. I'll have to. Maybe we'll get involved with Space Hay or not. I don't know. I already have too many platforms between the Twitters and the Instagrams and the Facebooks
Yeah,
and the
it's not
Discords
worth
and the YouTubes, and like you can spread yourself too thin sometimes. I think. All right. What now? Now that you know what it is, and now that you know what Jade and Thomas are up to, let's bring our friend Tom back into the mix. Welcome back, Thomas, Mr. Songtember 2022 himself.
Hello. Hello,
hi,
Jade.
Tom. Good to see you, mate. Long time no see.
Yeah.
It's the reunion. We're all back together again. Yeah, I really enjoyed being on Thomas's show the other day and the Brady Bunch with the 9 people. But I was like, I'm going to just go with Jade and Tom for this year's because it gets a little bit intense and it's kind of hard. You spend most of your time sort of sitting there very quietly, waiting for your chance to talk when there's 9 people. So especially for someone like me, I don't like to cut people off. So. We'll go simple this year. So what I wanted to do now is jump in and start because you two have sort of shared some of your experience, but it can be kind of daunting and overwhelming for folks who haven't done this before. So I just thought we'd just randomly go out there, and folks in the chat, if you want to share some of your tips and experience as well. But what are some of the tips and tricks and ways to approach this that you think are going to help people out? So Tom, since we've brought you back, what would you say if someone said, I'm starting this for the first time and either I've never created a song or I haven't done it for a long time? What are some of the tips that you'd give them?
Well, first of all, I would kind of think about what do you want to do? Because, what style of music are you interested in? Because that factors into it in a big way. And then what kind of, what do you have in terms of technology? Do you have like some old equipment, like an old 4-track recorder, or do you have an iPhone where you can get involved with GarageBand? Of course, Pete would be very happy if you did that, or an iPad, or do you have an Android? Because there are things for Android like BandLab and stuff like that. Or do you have a decent PC where you can run like FL Studio or Cubase or something like that? Or you have there is the Cakewalk thing with BandLab that's free on PC. So you have a lot of different options there, and that's kind of like the first thing. And what instruments do you have? So you kind of start there and just use what you have, and then you maybe start to think about, are there things that you want to have that you don't have that, like an interface? That would be like a really basic thing, like a microphone. You might want to get a microphone, a decent, doesn't have to be anything real fancy. You can go to Pete's Gear Guide and check that out. Or Jade has a gear guide as well.
Always doing his mod work. Always doing the mod work, even when he's here on the show. Yes. StudioLiveToday.com/gear.
I don't have a gear guide, but anyway. So you start, and then do you want to get like another guitar or something, or a keyboard, synth? You kind of just work from there, start playing around with some things, start trying some things, watch tutorials, and but don't, I mean, you can get like engrossed on just watching tutorials. Get the information you need to get, and then just get started and try to create something.
Very cool, yeah, and look, there's free ways to do it, and I know a lot of people these days have been saying, oh, you talk about GarageBand, and what if I don't have an iPhone or a Mac? Well, as Friggsy says here, Cakewalk on PC is free these days. It's so cool because a lot of these things, like basically Cakewalk is like the new Sonar, and Sonar used to pay like $200-300 for, and now it's just all free because BandLab acquired Cakewalk and have made it free, so it is a good option. And like you say, BandLab itself, you can use that in the browser, so you can use that on a Chromebook. You could have a $200 Chromebook, and you could be using BandLab. So there's really no excuse when you think back to what we had to do in the old days with the 4-track recorders and getting things done. And now, like even the most simple 4-track recorder. In fact, I think you showed an app just called 4-track recorder or something, Jay, that it's like an AU V3 you can put inside another door. So you can, there's options galore. What about you, Jade, in terms of tips for folks starting out and doing it for the first time?
Have fun. That is the most important thing. Have fun. Don't get bogged down with the pressure of, is this going to be good enough? Are people going to like this? Am I going to get fire emojis when it's played on people's shows? Don't get bogged down by worrying about if people are going to like it. Have fun. Be experimental. Be creative. Try out new things. There's so many different doors out there to use. None of them are right. The right one is the one that works for you. Don't feel like you have to, do what other people are doing. In fact, break the mold. It's a perfect opportunity to try something new and be adventurous. In my opinion, I try and do it every year, do something new. I saw a new door that was, I think it's new, called Traction Waveform 12, I think. Ooh. That is free on PC and Mac yesterday. It looks crazy. Yeah. It looks like out there. It's Traction Waveform 12. Absolutely free. It looks like Cakewalk. Heaps of plugins. It looks magic. So there's all these free things for you to do. You don't need to spend money either. I have a gear guide as well, but you don't need to. Use what you've got. Just get through the month and just put everything into that. I'll put it out there too. I have a Patreon if you would like to join, even just for the month, for $1. Yeah. And every weekend I master your songs. So you can send through your track if you get to the last week of the month. You want it professionally mastered, you can send it on through. Come and join the live chat every weekend on the Patreon, and I will master your song for you for $1. It's and if you want to leave after that, you can leave. Whatever, it'll cost you $1.
And with 45 people watching here and probably a couple of hundred on the replay, Jade's going to be super busy. She may actually have zero time for her own music in Songtember because you'll be spending 8 hours every week mastering tracks. So actually, no, you'll be spending 24 hours in the last week because everyone will be asking you on the 29th of September.
We can do we can actually do a super long Patreon in that last episode, I think, because my special guest performer this month on the for Songtember on the opening hour is this guy down here. Over here, there he is. He's performing on my show. It's super exciting.
I was a bit worried for a minute there because I thought you were going to point to me, and then I'm like, wait.
Nah, that wouldn't work.
How drunk was I in Melbourne when we were hanging out?
You're opening for yourself, Pete.
That would be weird. We should do that one week where you open for I do your show and you do my show, and then we just confuse the heck out of everyone.
Let's do that.
You could do one like you did this past weekend. Have one pre-recorded, and then you can go.
Yeah.
So you really could open. For your own show.
We could do that.
I could have a pre-record and then just at the end say, "And now over to me live to be around."
Absolutely, but yeah, my advice is just go for it. Just have fun. Make mistakes. Screw up. And yeah, as Thomas said, I agree with Thomas. Don't get too hooked up on watching all these shows and stuff. Just get your music down, have fun, make lots of mistakes, and even if you're late, don't stress on the date. Because I'm pretty sure you normally do a YML at the end of it, and there's normally some straggler songs for the next week kind of after. So
we mop up for a couple of weeks afterwards. So yeah.
Yep, I've been late by a week too on one of mine, so it's all good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And again, people ask, what are the rules? And I know I say the rules are there are no rules, which is kind of the basics of it. But yeah, the reason, and I wanted to talk about this briefly, the reason that I don't make this a competition and I don't make this, there's no prizes, there's nothing, there's no first place, there's no eighth place ribbons, there's none of that BS, because I think there's enough competitive stuff in the world, and
Yeah.
all these reality TV shows that have turned music into a competition. It's bullshit, if you pardon my French, because it's so subjective. Like, there are people that will love FMC, and then there are people that love Jade Star Dread Circus, and they're very, very different. You couldn't compare the two, and it's you. That's one artist with just two different complete genres, and it's just, I don't know. I could not rank. I could not say this Alex Backus tune is better than this Keonra tune, which is better than this Lily Pilly's tune. It's like, there is no better. Do I like this? Do I dig it? Am I going to listen to it? Or is it not for me? But hey, I bet someone else loves it. That's why. If you're wondering, where's all the prizes? Why aren't you partnered up with sponsors to get free stuff? It's like, because that drives a completely different narrative. That makes people do things outside of what's just going to be for them and their music and having fun. So if you wanted the explanation on that one, that is it. Cool. So any other tips? So in terms of the practical side of thing, and maybe like the mental and the time management side, Thomas, how, as someone who creates a lot of music and is an absolute beast when it comes to getting stuff done, how do you wrap your head around that, around the managing of the time to get everything done and completed in the month?
Well, it's probably a bad time to ask me about that. But generally speaking, like, I come up with, there's a plan. So if you have a plan, you start out with one. It maybe doesn't always follow that trajectory exactly, but start out with a plan and get, write down ideas like.
Press the wrong button. Sorry, Thomas. That was my doing something weird.
But go ahead and just start writing things down, ideas like what you want to do, and write down ideas for song titles that you may have. If you're just doing one song, or you doing like an album or an EP, kind of just get, like, what is it going to be about? That just little things like that, and what style is it going to be? And if you just have some basic like guidelines, so you're not, you face that choice paralysis.
Yeah.
And to avoid that, you really have to kind of, narrow things down a little bit, and not have every possibility just out there. And you sit there like, what am I doing? What's going on here?
Totally. And I think, when I sort of think in terms of that, having somewhere to note stuff down. And I know, Jade, you showed on your show today using your voice recorder just to get ideas down. Have a notebook or have something on your phone or something somewhere, just the notes app on your phone, and just note things down, because you won't remember them. You think you'll remember them, you won't. Trust me. And even if, like I say, Songtember is I think Leela said it right. Can Songtember be blank? Yes, of course it can. But I think as long as you're getting something done and just collecting, even if at the end of the month you've got a notebook that has a whole bunch of ideas that you can then use and work on for the future, or you've got half of a song written, you've got some lyrics, or you've written a hook, or you've written an intro, or you've got a chord progression. So whatever you're getting, just record it. Now, we're all lucky that we do this sort of stuff on video. So there's always a record. I can go back and say, how did I make that song hold on in 2019? I can watch a whole series about how I did it. So I'm never going to forget anything, because I'm always live, because I'm a YouTube, I was going to call myself a bad word then. But if you just recording for yourself, just grab your camera app, like, just sing into it. No shame, no disgrace. Like Jade showed before, that you do your do-do-dos and your da-da-das into your phone. No one has to listen. You don't have to be like me and Jade and play those to an international audience. You can just
That
have
was
that
so
for
embarrassing.
yourself. It's always terrible. Don't worry. Once we start, I'll be cracking out the voice recordings, and you'll be hearing me. You'll be the dog in the background and the kids and all sorts of things, because that's just how you create. If you sit down and go, right, let's be creative now, you'll get nothing. It'll just be crickets. Whereas when you come out the shower and you've got that idea, oh man, how about a song about how showers are awesome? And you're like, oh, showers are awesome. And you write it down, and then you record.
Shit, I am writing that down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man. Very cool. So I'm just working through and updating all of the friends of Songtember. So I'll put the call out there. So Jamie, no pressure, mate, but you are a content creator. I think you should be creating some Songtember content. I want to see some Jamie Mallender hashtag Songtember going on, so you can join the rest of us. If anyone does have any questions, by the way, you've got access to two of the best musical brains in the community right here. So don't come to us with any excuses and saying, "Oh, I wanted to ask a question, but I didn't." No, you got access to Tom and to Jade right now. So do go ahead and ask anything that you want to. Let's talk collaborations, because one thing I get asked every year is, "Do I have to do everything myself?" And no, because my answer is Jade's done drums on the last 2 years for me. So no, you don't have to do everything yourself. And last year I was so lazy, I got everyone in the community to sing my backing vocals for me from Work in Progress. So no, you definitely don't have to do it all yourself. Any tips because both of you have collaborated with a bunch of people? Thomas, have you collaborated much? That's a good question. Actually. Jade has.
I've
Thomas
done
a bit of a lone wolf.
Yeah, I did. I actually did one. I did a collab with Kev Hart of Metal Shack.
Yes.
Back at last. I think it was back in the spring. He created a song and I added some like synth parts to it. Poor PA. Now PA, you hear on YML, you hear on my show, such an awesome musician. She's still waiting on me to do vocals, and I promise you, PA, I'm hitting my microphone.
Calling it out.
It's coming. But
I'm in the same boat.
yeah,
that's very cool.
It can be tricky to do collaboration.
Yeah, it can help, but it can add complexity as well, because as soon as you've got that thing where someone's waiting on you or you're waiting on someone, it can add complexity. So I think, similar to what you were saying before, planning it out and knowing what you're doing for the month can actually really help. So knowing what you need to do and by when is pretty important too. So I say that, because if you start, like you can be like me and you can be like, I'm just going to start with some ideas, but you really kind of need to know, when do I need to have my final mix done by? When do I need to do my mastering? When do I need to do my album artwork? If I'm doing a video, when am I going to start producing the video? Because if you work forwards, you're going to hit September 25th and still be like hacking around trying to find sounds and tones for your different tracks. Whereas if you know, actually, realistically, I probably need to have my final mix, or at least my first mix done by the 12th of September. And I would need to have my final mix done by the 19th of September. And especially if you're going to release and you want it to be out before the 1st of October, and you want it to release it with like DistroKid, which you definitely can do, you kind of need to give an extra 3-day buffer there too. So you'll need your mastering and your final version and your album art and everything done well before the 30th of September. So if you are collaborating, totally go for it. It's cool, but just keep that in mind, that you may want to set some delicate, like some pretty robust time limitations on that, because you don't want to be sitting there on the 25th of September going, Thomas promised me vocals, and I'm still sitting here waiting on the 25th and it's not coming through. So, but no, it is, and I guess if you are going to collaborate, just keep that in mind, that you will have to rely on other people. But if you want to go and do it all on your own, you can do. Rick lists. Oops, I missed the button. Rick says, "Wait, what are we talking about?" It's a bit like Ron Ward there. I think I had a bit of circular logic there, and it took me about 4 minutes to say something that should have been 4 seconds. If you want to collaborate, do it. Just be careful. Right? Like everything, when you're doing things with other people, just do it safely. Be careful.
Don't collaborate with me. That's rule one.
Yeah,
I'm the same as Thomas. I have, and I'm wrapping up this week, drums for Andy and vocals for Night Train. So I've, like in my last week of getting everything wrapped up, so I'm free, because I don't do collaborations, so don't message me to do collaborations. I would love to, but I'm terrible to collaborate with because I just don't have time. And every time I do have time, I'm too tired because of this YouTube thing. Takes up so much time.
Yeah, it is hard. How do you balance that these days, Thomas? Because you are one of the few people that could do all the YouTube things as well as create all the music. So how are you balancing that at the moment? I keep asking you for time management advice, but I'm obviously impressed with what you get done.
Well, I've been fortunate the past couple months that I've been on my I'm a 9-month employee with my day job, so I have 3 months off, and so it's Songtember's a little bit bittersweet because it's the end. And then in October I go back to work, and it's going to be, I'm basically thrown into the fire because of the nature of the job that I do. It's the busy time. So unlike when I left in June, where, you know, I didn't have a lot I had to do, I'm going to be kind of like right in the middle of like the crazy, you know, might even have to do overtime and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting. That's what I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can in these 3 months, and just get as much creative stuff done and stuff for the channel as I can. But it is tough to balance the channel and the music part of it. And when work starts up, it's going to get even more difficult. And realistically, I'll probably be 90% the channel and like 10% music then. Right now, I'd say it's more like 50-50. But
so no pressure, but that album has to get done very soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be album of the year. It's going to be album of the year.
That's pretty exciting. There's a lot of really good music being produced out there, and Thomas, your stuff for this album, I mean, The Creator was great, Virus Infect was great. This one's like next level somehow, and I don't know how you keep bettering yourself and upping your game, but no pressure. But you just have to keep getting better forever, like continually making better music. But I don't know how you're doing it. It's very cool. So a couple more things, because what are we at? We're about the 50-minute mark. I thought we'd hang out here for about an hour and have a chat, talk Songtember, just to get the juices flowing. Hang on, get the juices flowing.
Ding.
Boom. Boom, indeed. But yeah, just to reiterate once again, the rules are there are no rules, but if there were to be any rules, it's exactly what Leela said before. Genre, any. You know what? As long as it's not hateful, I say the same thing about YML. As long as it's not preaching any hate towards any people, you can tell me what you love. That's fine. People are passionate about things. That's cool. But yeah, just don't tell me who you hate. No, there is no hate. It's got to be all about the love. And you can be angry too. I think a lot of music is angry. You're not exactly going to have a metal song about kittens and puppies, but as long as, again, you're not targeting anyone with any hate, then you're all cool. DAW, any. So whatever you want to use, if you want to just use a tape recorder, if you want to go the old ghetto, like they don't call it ghetto blasters anymore, that's not PC, but the old boom boxes and do the face-off thing where you record on one tape and then the other, might have a bit of. Actually, that'd be really cool, because isn't tape hiss like the new thing that everyone wants? Everyone wants their stuff to sound like it's recorded on 1985 cassette.
Well,
I'm just going to do a whole song of tape hiss, just a whole song of tape hiss.
That'd be cool.
We call it hiss.
I had that song that was sent in to, it might have been on YML too, but it was sent in to my show from Scapular Winging Records. And he was 10 years old, and he like recorded stuff where he like did some kind of like dubbing between two tapes or something. And it didn't sound great, but it sounded pretty good for what it was. And so maybe you go old school and do that.
Oh, absolutely. Hello to Kim Harden Hudson, by the way. We haven't said good day to you. Hello to Bubba. And I think I said Clayton Von Kluge is here, if I didn't say good day to you before. We've got the crew. We've got everyone who's anyone's here at Songtember, because, hopefully you all want to start creating music. Any door collaborations, yes, anything that you want to do. Can you use an idea that you've previously had? I know there's been some chat on the Discord, and like some people, I think Princess LDG's been like already going nuts. So we're like, it's not Songtember. No, what is it? Song August? I can't say. But yeah, so you can use an idea that you've already got. I would be a hypocrite if I said no, because I used an idea that I had before. And you better believe that tonight I'm going through my voice recordings, because I got a bunch of weird stuff on here. And if I find something that resonates, I'm just going to grab it and throw it in there. So
there's so many artists who release albums now. Like Metallica are known for this. They go back through old recordings they've made from 6 years ago, find old riffs. So, of course, you can do that. If the big names can do it, the little names can do it as well.
Exactly right. And don't be scared about, like, the problem that I have early on is that I start playing something and I'm like, oh my God, this sounds just like this other song. It's like, there's 12 notes in the Western scale, people. You're not going to find something completely different and new and original. You might sound a bit like your favorite artist, because guess what? You like their music and you want to create something that sounds like that. So if it's an homage, if it's using a chord progression, oh my God, this is the same chord progression as Oasis's Wonderwall. Well, guess what? So are 1,000 other songs. So don't stress about that. And you can share part of a song. So whatever you get done, you can share. And I think we'll talk about this as sort of like one of the last topics, unless we've got questions. If anyone has questions, throw them in the chat here. We've got some time to answer anything. But the sharing in the community side of things, I think the reason that in the past we've used the Create, Record, Release Facebook group, this year we're using that as well as Discord, just because I know some people are anti-Facebook or that aren't on the Facebook. Although I've seen that if Bubba can be on Facebook, maybe anyone can be on Facebook just quietly. So
You don't use Twitter.
yeah, Bubba don't tweet. No, we know that much. Bubba don't tweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sharing of bits and pieces. Don't forget that you can do that, and sharing your ideas and getting feedback. And I know Jade, you've got towards the end of the month, you're going to be talking feedback. But if you are open to the feedback, and again, I think you said, look, the negative, the old word is criticism. Like you take some criticism, but really feedback, be it positive or negative, can actually really help you. And if you're going along the way, share your ideas and don't freak out. People aren't going to steal them and take them. And that $1 million song idea that you've had, people are going to take and share. And both the groups are private anyway. So both the Facebook group and the Discord server, they're private. I mean, we do allow it pretty much anyone to join, but as soon as they show any dickish tendencies, they leave. Sometimes of their own accord, and sometimes they're quietly escorted to the door and removed. So you really don't have to worry about that side of things. But and so I'll put your hand up for you. But Jade and Tom, I know that you are both part of those communities. But yeah, you've got folks like Jade and Tom and everyone else who will be happy to give you feedback, and you can share alike. So even if you're getting parts of stuff done, just share it and spread it around.
Absolutely.
Feedback's the corporate term for criticism, but it's all how it's delivered, and feedback can be quite positive. The only key to giving good feedback is to not be a you know what I'm saying? Don't be one of those. Don't be a horrible person, and feedback will be greatly appreciated. You won't take it to heart. It sometimes can help you. Can I say a couple of things just on mental health for this as well?
Yes,
Because mental health, I think, is very important.
Yep.
If you're feeling under pressure, if you're feeling the weight on your shoulders of this, take time out. Please go for a walk. Go do something that you enjoy. Have a chat with somebody. Share some music with somebody that you may not have shared, something that you're working on with somebody that you think you're proud of and they might like. Give somebody else some praise. Go and watch someone's music and leave them a comment. Do something positive. Don't let it weigh down on your shoulders, because your mental health is more important than anything. We need you healthy. We need you smiling and good. So please don't, and reach out to people as well. There's a really wide community of people here, and people are willing to have a listen and support you through it. So there you go. Be good to yourself, as Pete would say. Be kind to, what is it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Be kind to
your
yourself, be
catchphrase.
kind to others, and keep creating. If you keep doing that, you'll be absolutely fine. It's true, and it goes without saying that apart from Jade's roast that she did on her, if you're a member of Jade's Wart Warriors, you would have heard that over the weekend. But generally the advice is to just be kind to others, treat others as you would want to be treated, whatever cliche you want to put next to it. But the most important thing is that this is fun. The reason it's not a competition, and the reason that there's no prizes, and the reason that we're not ranking anyone's anything is just because it should be your own personal thing. Like music is more like golf and less like soccer or football, is that you're really only competing with yourself. And really, that's not even a competition. It's just about improvement. So if you play golf, you just want to try and go around the course a couple of strokes less than you did a year ago. And it's kind of the same with your music. You just want to be producing music that you are happier with yourself, that sounds more like the stuff that goes on in your head than the stuff that you were creating a year ago or 2 years ago. And you won't always get it right. You won't always hit it out of the park, but if you keep focusing and keep trying, you'll get there. You'll do something. And again, if you get to the end of the month and you've done more than you would have done if you didn't do it at all, win. You've already won. So go for it.
You'll end up hating your song 2 months after anyway. We all do.
By the end of it, I was walking around and we're all just a work in progress. I'm so sick of this song.
Well, it gets stuck in your head. That one gets stuck in your head.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, again,
Pete's
people
poison.
people were emailing me like angry. They're like, I was walking around singing your song, and my wife's like, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's this Pete Johns song. He won't stop singing it. It's in my head. It's ruined my life." So I've got a few final tips I wanted to throw out here, and then I am going to let you all get on with your day, because you got to rest up. You've only got one day left until you need to start creating and start doing the Songtember thing. But in terms of tips, like we've already talked about, planning your time backwards, so making sure you know where you have to finish. Do something every day. This is something that I think is really important. If you can find 5 minutes to do something, and even if it's just listening to your demo and making a couple of notes down, like listen to it one time through, if you can get into that habit, you can build that muscle memory and that habit of doing something every day, it's going to be a lot easier, because you know what it's like. You skip a day and then you're like, oh, I didn't do anything yesterday. Now I feel bad about that. So I'm going to just go eat a packet of Tim Tams and skip today as well. It's kind of like going to the gym. If you can't get to the gym, go for a 10-minute walk around your block and you're going to do better. It's the same with music, I think. If you can't create, you're like, oh no, I can't spend 2 hours cracking on and doing this mix. Just do 5 minutes, do 10 minutes, do something. And there isn't anyone, like, people are busy, yeah, but we have these devices in our hands. Maybe instead of doom scrolling Instagram for 5 minutes, just open up your notepad and just start jotting down ideas that then next time you've got your studio working, you can use those. So something every day if you can. Listen to other music. As Jade said before, for your own mental health, but just listen to your favourite album. If you're completely blocked and completely stuck, just throw on a Jade Star. Look, Jade's doom scrolling now. Just throw on a Jade Star Dread Circus album and listen to that and get some inspiration, because other music will inspire you. Keep it simple. Like, yeah, you might start out going, I want to do 32 tracks of awesomeness and I'm going to put in 14 different synths and use all these apps and all these things. And if you get to the end and it's literally a 4-track demo on an acoustic guitar and your vocals, that's fine. Like, don't aim high, but then when you achieve, don't worry if you don't get everything done that you think you're going to. And if you're stuck, try something different. Not only something different for yourself, like go out for a walk or go play some violent video games or whatever floats your boat, but try a different genre. Sometimes just trying something completely left field, you'll be amazed at what you can actually find, and that's going to work for you. And I think Jade already touched on this, but don't fear failure. You know what? We say it all the time, but mistakes make you better. Every little failure is just leading up to a bigger success. So if you do more than nothing, you've won. And there is no win and lose. I need to stop saying winning, because it's not about winning. It's about you and your own self-fulfillment and creating music and sharing your art with the world. So they're kind of my final tips and the final things that I wanted to put out there. I'm going to let both Jade and Thomas have some final words of wisdom and final thoughts on Songtember before we wrap things up. So, Jade, your final soapbox is yours to let folks know about Songtember.
Just have as much fun as you possibly can. As I've said, make mistakes, embrace the mistakes, laugh at them. You notice if you come over to my shows, which during 5 days or six days a week, I'll be making lots of mistakes. I do every day, and I can't wait because they're so much fun. And I look like an idiot in front of all of you, and there's nothing more pleasing to me than looking like a complete numpty in front of all of you. It does make me happy. You know why? It makes you feel like you're living. You're not living unless you're making mistakes. You're not living unless you're walking on the edge. Be adventurous. Be dangerous. Walk along that razor's edge. And that's where the happiest mistakes happen. The things that you don't plan. You can plan this as much as you want. Seriously, you can put all this effort into planning and then get to the end of it and be utterly disappointed. So don't use your notepad, use your audio recording and all that stuff. But don't get too butthurt if things don't go to plan, because on a dime, you can change direction and go somewhere else. You never know where you're going to end up. Trust me, I've done this quite a few years now with Songtember. Never know really where it's going to happen. I still have no idea what's going to happen this year. And that's what's exciting. That is what is exciting. So be you, have fun and just be. Do what makes you happy. That is the most important thing. And I can't wait to hear everything you've got to do. And I can't wait to make loads of mistakes and have something by the end of it. Should be loads of fun.
Very cool. Oh yeah, look, that's the most exciting thing for me. Like I've said this in previous years, that my stuff that I do here is fine and dandy, but getting to the end and just listening to all this music that exists in the world that wouldn't have existed if we didn't do this every year, that's what kind of makes it special to me. So being able to see what everyone is creating and the absolute diversity of talent and different genres and different creators we have here, and seeing folks get better each and every year. So I mean, there's plenty of people I could call out. Obviously, yourself, myself and Thomas, like folks like SM Borthwick, Alex Backus, all these OG folks that have been with us for a long time. You look at their music over each year and it's like a time capsule. So those that have done this more than once, and if you're doing it for your first time, you're going to start your time capsule now. And I can look back now and go, yeah, I really liked the first song that I did, which was Hold On. I forgot my own songs now. But I can't remember the names of my songs. How sad is that? I'll have to go back and see. That's the thing. I can go back through the time capsule and find it. But like last year when we did Work in Progress, that's one of the songs I'm more proud of than anything. And getting everyone involved in that big sort of final chorus with all of the gang vocals there that everyone recorded themselves, like that was just awesome. So yeah, there's going to be a plethora of great music coming your way.
Can I just say quickly, Pete, I am putting the offer out to play drums for you this year. So if you do need them, I'm here. And I think I promised Joe and Barry Glenn too. So
there you go.
There we go.
So commitment. So what Jade is saying, that if everyone that wants drums, Jade,
no, that's not what I'm saying. Right. Had I strangled Pete?
Just to clarify. Thomas, your final words of wisdom, my friend.
Well, I would just say make something that you want to listen to. Think about in your mind, go back in time, you go into a record store or you go into Apple Music or YouTube or wherever you get your music from, and think about like bands that you like and artists that you like, and just imagine what, like, in terms of like a new album, what would you want to hear from them? What could you see them doing? What kind of music would you want to be listening to right now? And make that. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I know a lot of people say, "Oh my God, how big-headed is it of you to listen to your own music?" I don't know why they talk like that.
No.
And I'm like, no. If you're making music that you don't want to listen to, that makes you cringe, that you don't enjoy, then what the heck are you doing? Like, you're making music is your opportunity to make the perfect music for you, exactly the genre you'd want to listen to. So I think that's golden advice there from Mr. Thomas Christ. So. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you're just joining us, if you missed it, go back and watch the replay, because the reason I wanted Tom and Jade here is that we've got words of wisdom. Like that last bit of gold there from Thomas is not something that I would have thought to say, but it's super relevant. Like make what you want to make. And if you do want to find all the information, it is all over here. I've just been updating it. If you've been seeing me like not paying attention, it's just because I've been updating this as we go along. I need to refresh it because I've added in some extra links here. But you can watch this launch party. You can join the Facebook group and the Discord. You can get the friends of Songtember here. So anyone who's going to be creating Songtember content, please give me your channel. You can email me, pete@studiolivetoday.com. Let us know on the Discord. Do all the things. And then you've got all the how it works. And again, those rules here are reiterated, which is there are no rules. And at the bottom there, the why, because finishing songs is a great way to get a sense of achievement. So just do it. Get it done. Oh, I'm getting all choked up. I've been all choked up about Songtember. All right, that is going to do it, folks, for this one. But I will be back. By the way, if you want to know how it works, pretty much every day I'll be sharing a video. Some of it will be live, some of them will be pre-recorded, some I'll be literally out and about walking down the river with my phone, just having a chat, talking about things. So there's plenty of opportunities for you to get involved here, as well as over on Jade's and Tom's channels, as well as all the other friends of Songtember, and get involved with the Discord and the Facebook group and all the other places. And of course, right here on YouTube in the comments, if you're watching on the replay, let us know. Leave a comment. Say, are you in? That's what we usually like to say. Who's in? Just all we need is I'm in. Like, put it in the comments after the show's finished here. If you're watching on the replay, I'm in Songtember 2022. That's going to do it for this one. As we say, on behalf of my guests, Jade and Tom.
Bye.
Bye now. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Keep creating and rock on for Songtember 2022.
Yeah, baby.
See you.